I'm expecting to see a whole lot, of course, Axe and Lance this weekend. You got Bryn, you got like Lance, Galore, that's going to be everywhere. But here, started things off a little bit different.
Yeah, and it looks like we're hopping right onto Miami Dome for Game 1, and already you can see that some damage is already coming out on the side of the red team, doing a great job of trying to find the sandwich scenario and hopefully keep things going for themselves. I really want to see Jetbean and Clem kind of fight back a little bit, but they're being forced off into the corners of the stage. You can see the red team in hot pursuit.
And that's a big part of what happens when you're going up against someone like Godly. He's able to separate and force you off stage so quickly. It becomes a very difficult task to try and box him away. But Fozey in the center just sidelining everybody back and forth, saying, back off of me. This is my center stage, and you're not doing anything about it, as Jetbean and Clem have been struggling to get center stage control.
Yeah, I mean, at this point, we already have 2 members in the red on the side of Team Blue. Now, granted, on the other side of things, we do see actually the first stock fall, and it's not going to be a member of the blue team.
Yeah, it's very well done considering they had a bad start, but we're going to see Clem fall and Jetbean fall shortly after as Fozey's able to get the double KO.
Okay, now things are going right back into the thick of it. You can see a little bit of a conglomeration on the right side, and everyone moves to the left all at the same time. You can see they never want to be too far away from their individual partners, but so far, nothing too wild has happened yet. Nice downer going to come out there, and it is going to lead to the KO.
That was 3 dares in a row from Clem. This accuracy on point. You need that, of course, as Barraza, but being able to switch now back over to the Axe, you already have Godly decently damaged, so target focus does turn to him, but you have to pay attention to Fozey again with how good they've been to just kind of separating. Good to get those end lights, push them away, try to go for the ground pound, gonna miss out on Clem, who was momentarily holding out for a good while, but does finally get caught by the dare.
Okay, now we finally have the first member down to their final stock. It's going to be Clem on that Barraza. Now, Barraza does have that defense, should be able to hang on a little while longer and maybe try to make this comeback here, as we do see also Jetbean go down here. So now the blue team is a bit at a disadvantage, but I'm sure if they can just clean up Godly and then potentially set up that 2v1, they may be able to bring this back.
We've seen quite a few times this happen where Godly's going to go ahead and fall here. Now, of course, Godly has been one of the most difficult people to knock out on last stock. He just kind of turns it up. But Fozey's been the epitome of defense so far as he's continuing to break things up. Good recovery to go ahead and get them away, stopping Clem, forcing Jetbean off stage, and now they're continuing to regain that stage control again, Flambeau.
Okay, and there we go. Oh, we're going to actually drop the Sair there from Fozey. That's going to be a tremendous drop there. Usually something for a really strong team combo. Hopefully it doesn't hurt too badly, though, as they do still have the stock advantage. And there we go, the downside coming out from the Sasui no Hado Hattori.
And the Sair finally comes through for Godly. Remember we said, like, he kind of, like, he really clutches it up when he needs it at the end. And Jetbean's going to fall, and that is game number 1 going to EU to start things off on the first match on stream on the return to BCX. They take the first one, of course, we said this before, kind of what we're leaning a bit towards. They do have a lot of history. They do know, like, they just have been so consistent of late. But you can, I've been so impressed by how good Jetbean has been of late. Of course, Clem was consistently finding dares, was consistently setting up, but Jetbean wasn't able to get in and follow up on combos because of the strength of Fozey, constantly separating them. Whenever Clem got a hit, Fozey was immediately there to stop it, because what's your combo starter? Gonna be the blasters.
Yeah, and that's kind of the tough part about running that composition, right? Everyone knows that blasters in 2s is one of the best weapons in terms of setting up those team combos. There's so much stun time, so much time for your partner to come through and follow up off of your attack, but it's also a double-edged sword. It means that if I'm going to come through and I want to break things up, I also have that much extra time.
Yeah, and I actually kind of like this idea of getting over here to Apocalypse, getting away from Miami Dome, because Spear had too much control for Fozey, and he was able to kind of force you onto platforms and then hide underneath. Now you only have the one soft platform you have to worry about, and it's more likely that you're going to find those quick combos because you're probably going to be right next to Clem. And also with Jetbean, of course, I think they're going to focus a bit more on trying to get those sword startups so they have 2 combo starters rather than the one which kept getting stopped.
Yeah, and I think this is a pretty good way to go about things. And I was talking about the Sasui no Hado before. We got Akuma on screen here, ready to tear things up, and I am wondering...
Oh my god.
Speaking of getting torn up, Akuma's seen better days.
Yeah, Fozey is like doing everything you need as a teammate. And this is kind of a question mark for some people when they were looking at this team. Like, Godly, of course, but is Fozey going to be able to be the one that carries the same weight as Godly? As we see, Godly does fall right there. The person who's been holding onto their stocks more often has been Fozey, but Clem trying to hold on to this. You mentioned that defense before. You need to pick this up and stay alive.
Man, and I saw that N-Light come out from Jetbean. There was a huge opportunity for him and Clem to go ahead and get a huge team conversion. Weren't able to find it, but they are actually in the lead right now regardless. I was telling y'all, this can happen.
It's not impossible. Remember, land is very different, but that recovery is going to go ahead and take him out off the top. Relative, actually very even damage right now across the board. Godly going ahead, getting that nair, setting him up, getting a 4-piece out of that, almost catching Jetbean slipping. That would have easily been another one.
Yeah, Jetbean kind of got to play on the defensive right now because he is being hunted down. The weapon throw from Fozey, going to make that recovery hit. That was almost the nastiest neutral sig I've ever seen, but Jetbean is persevering, and look at Clem. So many bullets are flying right now.
And Jetbean's finally going to fall, but you're saying, like, there were frames off of getting hit by the neutral stick. I don't know how that didn't hit. Fozey going for another recovery chase off the top. That Sear's going to go ahead and send Godly super low. Here comes Fozey to go and help him out, though. Once again, Fozey always there to help him out.
Oh my goodness, the evasion I'm seeing from both of these teams. We got to be careful here. Clem needs help and won't be able to find it, and Jetbean can't find the reversal on the final stock. Needs to get out of the corner, manages to make it back to center stage, goes back off stage again. You need to be careful here. You have one stock left. I know you have gauntlets, but don't leave your partner to 2v1, and they find a KO, and they are in a position here to make a comeback.
The beginning of this match was almost like a different timeline with the way that they held the lead, but they did bring it all the way back. Jetbean trying to hold on to this as long as possible. You have value, you have plenty of maneuverability to avoid getting combos. Here getting the gauntlet, trying to set him up, but Fozey again to end line, separating them, and there's Godly with the punish, and now it's only Clem left.
Oh man, this is only but time. Here comes the team combo that we love. We're at BCX, baby. You know it's not going to be 1 or 2 hits.
No, absolutely not. Not especially against a team like this. And Clem backing away with the nairs, throwing the weapon toss down to try and separate them, avoids the nair. Godly gonna catch him. Delight. Oh,
big drop.
Okay. Not gonna be able to stop it though as we get them going
the stocks have evened up.
Games to none.
Okay. So this, if you are Jetbean and Clem, you're close, but not close enough. And at this point, you have one more chance to see if you can keep yourself in the winner's side of things, nice and happy. And admittedly, Ajax, they had the potential.
Flambo, it still keeps making me so happy because normally this is the point in time we're in the studio, the stats come up, we feel the time here, but we get to see the player reactions. You see how everybody is sitting there because remember, there's a big difference. You have that stress. You don't wear it on your sleeve. Luckily, they're very far apart from each other. They're on opposite sides of the stage, so you can't see when the other one is looking stressed. But being able to see like how everybody is handling it so far, how can they keep their composure? Can they stay focused? Because I think that Jetbean and Clem looked much better that game. The thing is that towards the end, they were starting to get team comboed more, and they weren't breaking them up, whereas the red team has consistently been bringing up a lot of combos. They've been willing to stop pushing advantage for the sake of stopping them from getting something started, and I think that's been the big difference between them so far and why they're currently up 2-0.
And I think that the toughest part, too.
What is this switch?
3, 2,
what are these switches? We have completely shifted. Okay. We have completely shifted the focus from what we just had with a second ago. How do you feel about this counter pick right now from the blue team?
Okay, so honestly, I know Jetbean's Onyx is extremely legitimate, so I'm not too surprised to see that pick there. The Reno, a little bit of a wild one, but once again, we were talking about how blasters are so good of a combo weapon. Yeah, go ahead, throw it on there. Orb's really good at it too. I don't dislike it. We're on a smaller stage. Onyx is really prone to getting early KOs, and Reno can actually use the boost a little bit because sometimes the KO power on that legend isn't as hard as you'd like to be.
I wonder, oh, there you go. All right, good punish, not gonna be able to get a knockout though, not even on small Brawlhalla. But what do you think is, I think part of it maybe, as Clem does fall, is having access to something like the orb instead of the axe is a way to get combos started and also to get quicker breakups because maybe you're less inclined to want to go in with that axe. They're trying to help out. But they do answer back after falling too quickly. Godly goes down, but once again, the person who's been consistently holding on the longest, Fozey's still sitting at 3.
Yeah, and that's the toughest part, right? Switching over to, I mean, I'm going to point out the elephant in the room, right? It's Queen Nai. Like, Queen Nai, we don't really see Queen Nai like that. Like, sometimes I feel like in more recent times, we've seen Queen Nai busted out as a counter pick. I've seen it from the likes of players like Fiend in the past before, but like, generally speaking, not an extremely meta pick. But if Fozey's been living for extraordinarily long times, getting all that defense combined with that KO power, it's a good combo.
Somewhere in the building, Toast is upset with me for not pointing out Queen Nai at the start. Well, right now, we're looking at Clem going down to 1 already. Jetbean already in the red. Of course, you got that range, be able to get those big punishes now here on the stage. And once again, man, you can't get away from Godly. Everybody is just struggling. Zero doubling up. It goes all the way out there. What a ridiculous, dominating performance as now Jetbean is stuck all by his lonesome, and it's looking like it's a bit of a wrap.
Bro, that's the kind of, when you get hit by something like that, like it's one thing when you're online, bro. You know, you have the whole Discord in there to say, it's all right, bro, you got it. But when you're in LAN, you're like, all those people in the crowd just had to watch that happen to me.
My Discord definitely recorded the whole thing. Like, yo, you see what happened to you? Let's run it back right now. Oh, that's going to be it. D-Light Sayer's going to take him out. And a 3L performance coming in for Fozey and Godly to start things off here today. We mentioned it before. This is definitely one of the teams we're looking at as a big contender to take it all. And also, Godly is here to send a message. Going in online the entire time, showing up here to land, everybody questioning, like, hey, is Godly going to be able to perform the way he does? But the most impressive part about that team was actually Fozey and how solid Fozey was enabling Godly to do what he wanted and never, ever relinquishing a lead when it wasn't necessary.
You know, it was extremely, like, terrifying, honestly. Like, it came to a point where I, like, couldn't even believe some of the things before my eyes. And so let's take a second look at it in these replays here. The first one is going to be back on Miami Dome. Be a KO off the left side of the screen. And then I actually like the interruption on the Sayer there from Fozey to go ahead and hit Godly out of hit stun, because you could see that was going to whiff, and then actually gave Godly the positioning to go ahead and get that Sayer to push Jet Bean off stage for the finishing ground pound.
And that's been such a consistent factor throughout the entire day. When they fought was Fozey just getting in the way. There's that neutral light right there, trying to set up for the narrow on the side. And then the positioning they had, as soon as they saw sweat beads, oh, you think you're going to get over Godly? No, I'm going to convert. Was able to just kind of land between the two of them somehow, but it didn't matter after that. Was able to take him out off the top, and it's just kind of the theme that kept going, even with the switch-ups, everybody changing it out on game number 3. It was not enough as they tried to switch it to a smaller stage. Maybe let's scrap some more. Chose to scrap with the wrong team.
Yeah, no, it was definitely like a, you want to scrap? We scrap, bro. You know, you want to see who's better in the scramble? Well, I'll give you a little tussle on myself. And, like, they were not able to hang. You know what I mean? I was like, I think some of us are seasoned veterans. It's like that one clip of Muhammad Ali where, like, he, like, dodges punches for, like, I don't know, like 30 straight seconds. And he's